Alright, so this one's going to be a very special video. In this video, you're about to find out the best thing of every single thing in Shindo Life. Now, this is for if you don't want to go through and individually watch the tier list, you will find the best thing of every single thing within the game. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. Let's get right to the video, guys. Alright, so naturally, we're going to be starting off with the single best bloodline in Shindo Life, which is obviously going to be Strange. Strange is the best bloodline just because Strange has an absolutely amazing mode. I find it funny because the people that actually abuse Strange are getting mad because I'm saying just how good it is. But Strange is the best bloodline in the game. It has a really good block breaking ability, a second ability that you could combo extend with. It also drains stamina. And the first ability is actually a place lock stun, which actually does last a long time and has quite a bit of damage. Overall, Strange just has a lot of utility and a lot of good things in its kit that makes it the single best bloodline in the game. Now, Strange mode is also going to be the best bloodline mode. Now, this is because the M1s do a lot of damage. The Q spec is a 4-second iframe. The C-Spec heals back all the damage you take, or if you die while using the C-Spec, it will actually instantly revive you. Obviously, that's a lot of utility to having a Bloodline mode, and it is the single best Bloodline mode of the game. Alright, so next up is going to be the best Mode Awakening. Now, this is going to be split between Akuma Eternal Hand and Slug Sage. Akuma Eternal Hand drains only 10 mode, has decent stats, and also has a counter attached to the mode. Now, the reason why it's going to rank this high, obviously, because it's very easy to integrate into your kit. If you have a Z-Spec available, pretty much you can throw this in, and it will pretty much not even hurt you at all. Now, Snail Spirit Awaken, aka Slug Sage, is obviously going to be the most broken in the game. It heals you pretty much as long as you're iframing. You can actually heal up all your HP. It barely drains any chi to use, not to mention the fact that the Throwable does give you infinite mode and does give you a lot of chi regen and HP regen back. So in the end, Slug Sage, it also revives your teammates after the bar hits full, which you do get by actually charging your, healing people with your chi. You can actually revive teammates with it, which makes the mode even more broken as a Mode Awakening. Now, we talked about Strange, we talked about Snail Spirit, but now we're going to talk about the best mode fusion in the game. Strange plus Snail Sage. Now, this is going to be the best mode fusion because it does give you a lot of iframes, a lot of healing, and overall, it's just a really broken mode combination. So pretty much what you want to do is start off with the Z-Spec right here, right? You wanted to use a bunch of iframe abilities, but you could actually combo with these. You'd actually have more tide than you have with just Slug Sage. Now, you actually have a ton of damage with just having the Strange mode, but the Slug Sage mode, you could actually use your iframes in and actually heal back all your HP with it. In the end of things, this mode combination practically makes you unkillable if you're even somewhat decent at the game, even in a 1v4 scenario. Now, we're going to be doing the best Akuma. The best Akuma by far is actually Shindo Akuma. Now, the reason for this is because Shindo Akuma in general, it just pretty much has everything you would ever need in a bloodline. It has a counter. The counter is one of the best counters as well, by the way. The C-Spec is also like the first ability, which is another counter. The first ability is a clone summoning ability. The third ability is actually a big sunflower. And then the second ability is a giant, damage ability. So in the end of things, Shindo Akuma, I do feel like it has a lot going for it, and it definitely is the best Akuma just because it's so versatile and it's so useful in a lot of different scenarios. I if you hit the like button right now, you get 15 million times like getting the best things in Shindo Life. The only way to find out is to that like button, subscribe, boys. Now, the best God Bloodline, and this may surprise you guys, is going to be Diva Ren. Now, to the people that have actually stopped playing this game ever since Diva Ren was bad, Diva Ren is literally godly now. So let me just show you. So the third ability is an instantaneous. It can actually combo extend because it does have hit stun with the knockback. The knockback is a form of stun. The second ability you could actually move stack with. I'll show you that you can move stack with it. As you can see, the move is still going on, and then boom, you can actually use an ability at the very end of it. Also, the first ability is a true M1 combo extender, and overall, the C-Spec isn't really that great, but in the end of things, Diva Ren is definitely the best God Bloodline due to the absolutely amazing ability. Now, the best rare Bloodline is going to be Doku Tengoku. Now, this is going to be because it has one of the single best counters in the game and a really good guard break. So if you guys are unaware, the first ability is a guard break. It does block break, stronger block. You cannot M1 combo extend with it. It has too many hand signs, but it is a pretty good block break. You can combo extend with it afterwards, just not before it. Now, the third ability is the single best ability of Doku just because, it drains chi from them. It's an auto tracking ability. It's overall just a really good counter now that they actually fixed it, which is really good. And I do think that even though the mode isn't that great, they did actually make it usable now. So Doku Tengoku, definitely the best rare bloodline, considering there's not that many good rare bloodlines. Now, the best Senko is going to be Dio Senko. Now, the reason for this is because Dio Senko actually is a pretty good bloodline in and of itself, but the mode definitely does carry it to the peak. So the second mode is better for team fights, and then the first mode is absolutely amazing for 1v1. So you pretty much just have everything you need. Now, I do recommend that if you're actually going to be using this, the third ability, it's not a very good ability. I mean, you can combo extend with it, but in general, you're really not going to be using that much. The second ability does give you short iframes, which is actually quite good. And the first ability is an Autododge. It's a pretty bad Autododge. I'd recommend just not using it at all. Now, the best Bloodline is going to be Obi-Wan Kengoku. And no, I do not look like Obi-Wan. Stop saying it in the comments, you nerds. But this is going to be the best Bloodline skin, pretty obviously. It's one of the only Bloodlines in the skins in the game that actually genuinely change how the, you know, the abilities look. It's one of the very few ones. The actual abilities of it are not, you know, that changed at all. The only thing that has changed is mainly the mode, but I do feel like that is enough to warrant this mode being an absolutely amazing skin. Now, the best PvE ability in Shindo Life is going to be the C-Spec of Xeno Dokai. Now, this actually does not work on players as well as it works on bosses. So I do recommend that if you're going to be using Xeno, that you do use it against bosses because it does not work against players. But it does a lot of damage to bosses. This is pretty much a known thing in the game, so I don't really need to explain it that much. Now, the best counter is going to be split between Shindai Kuma counter and Doku counter. Now, Doku counter, as you guys saw before in the video, is a auto-locking chi draining ability that does give you all the chi that you use back. So it's pretty much a free counter that actually starts your combos. Now, the Shindai Kuma counter, it is actually on a cooldown right now, so you guys obviously can't tell right now. So the Shindai Kuma counter is actually a clone summoning ability. So boom, I'm going to summon clones. Now, when they attack you, they do actually get ragdolled and the clones summon exactly on their face. It's overall a pretty good counter. I actually do think they're pretty even in terms of, you know, versatility and just how good they are. But Doku definitely has the edge sometimes. My hair was like wild and out there for a second, man. Now, the best auto dodge is actually going to be the Riser Kuma auto dodge because it still has iframes, and at the end of it actually will still do that stun attack. It also isn't on the auto dodge cooldown anymore. It still is an auto dodge in my mind because it still has the iframes and stuff like that. And it's also on the iframe attack global cooldown now, which actually does make it even better than what it was before, just because it's not on the global cooldown with all the other iframes. I mean, iframe auto dodges and counters. Now, the best stun is going to be split between Bankai second and Diva Ren second. Now, Bankai second is obviously going to be an instantaneous place lock AoE stun. You guys know what Bankai stun actually is. You guys know what it is. But the Diva Ren ability, you guys may not know. I did explain it before in this video, but it actually is an ability. It's a pull stun move that is almost instant that actually allows you to move stack during it. That actually is a pretty, you know, broken mechanic in the game. And I actually do think that it does make it somewhat better than Bankai in a lot of scenarios. But if you need a range place lock stun, Bankai is the way to go. Now, the best guard break in the game is going to be split between 3 different ones. Obviously, Diva Ren third is an insanely good guard break just because, you know, it has a block breaking potential overall. If you get behind him, it does actually start your combos off. Ragnar first is also going to be on this just because Ragnar first is uncancelable. It's you know, it's instant uncancelable block break and it does actually have a stun so you can start your combos off with. And obviously, Mecha Spirit is kind of like the bread and butter block break. Does a lot of damage, very long range, and if you have good accuracy, it's probably the best one in the game. Now, the best element in the game, this one should be pretty obvious. It's going to be Pyromania. Pyromania just does a lot of damage in general. It does actually have burn stack. It just isn't as good as it was before. It has pretty good combo extending potential just because, you know, you still can combo extend with it. It's pretty weak now that the perfect block actually exists in the game, but it isn't that bad. Now, I do actually recommend that if you're going to be using Pyromania, you know, it's a very, you know, damage oriented, you know, element, and it can be used for a quick combo extender or some free damage in general, but it is actually the best element by far. Now, the best damaging move is going to be Earth Avalanche. Now, I'm going to show you guys this with Menza Chain into Earth Avalanche. It does a lot of damage in general. As you can see, I just did 113,000 like that. You could use it as well pretty much in any combo to do it instantaneous, you know, like 90,000 damage. It's overall a really good damaging ability, and it is one of the highest damage abilities in the game. Now, the best movement ability is obviously could be Inferno second. You can use it to start your combos, but the actual movement aspect of it is also really, really good, just because it doesn't really drain that much chi and actually goes quite fast for what it does. Now, the best village in the game is going to be the Ember Village. Now, this one's a little bit nostalgia. I do actually farm an Ember quite a bit, even though since they added the Samurai Spirits, it does make it quite a bit harder. But if you still have a 4-man squad, it still is the fastest grinding place, but it definitely is a lot more difficult than it was otherwise. It also is the, you know, the most popular village in the game because that's where all the newbies go and stuff like that. And I actually do think it is very good for new players as well. Now, the best consumable in the game is going to be Gingerbread Man. Now, Gingerbread Man is going to be the best consumable. It's a 25-second cooldown consumable. Pretty much any time that you want to use it, it'll be up. That gives you chi, HP back, and stamina. So it's overall a pretty good ability, and it does regen a lot of those stats. Now, the best throwable in the game is Senko Kunai. The actual Dagai throwable is a very close second, but Senko Kunai is the best because if you hold it down, there's a glitch that makes it have no cooldown whatsoever. Obviously, that's a very broken thing in the game, and it's also better than the Dagai throwable because it instantaneously teleports you there, which is obviously faster than being dragged there. Also, the Dagai wire has a much less like range than Senko Kunai just because it doesn't teleport you. Now, the best weapon in the game is going to be Raiken Blade. Now, the reason for this is because it actually is a place lock stun on the weapon spec that actually does stun for quite a while. Ever since they fixed the auto tracking of it, actually has been a really good weapon. I'm very happy about it. Raiken Blade is actually one of my favorite weapons as well, but it is actually the best weapon in the game, and it's for good reason why you see it all the time. A place lock stun on a weapon spec is obviously going to be a really good thing when it's modeless. Now, the best Kenjutsu is going to be Sound. Now, the reason why Sound's going to be here is mainly actually for the for the fourth ability is really easy to catch people off guard. If they made the third ability actually automatically lock onto them instead of what it does now, it actually would be a lot better. But the fourth ability is actually the single best Kenjutsu ability in the game, and it's definitely for good reason. Now, the best tail beast of the game is obviously going to be Apol/Maru. This one's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, like, if you use tailed spirits at all, you kind of know this. Apol spirit, the actual Tenseion mode, lets you be above the ground, like, a lot more than you actually should. And Maru, it actually is worse than Apol because Apol is higher off the ground and makes you harder to hit. Yeah, I do feel like the raised M1s are generally really good in this game. Like, Shindai Ren is so good because of the raised M1s. It's like impossible to hit a Shindai Ren user. So if you're using these, it also makes it quite hard to hit, and the fact that it's a Z-spec definitely does put it above what it would be normally. Not to mention that they actually do have quite good, you know, specs, as in like abilities and stuff like that. They also do quite a bit of damage and have pretty good guard breaks to them. Now, the best companion in the game is obviously going to be Minakaze, not because it's just Minakaze, but because the abilities are actually quite annoying when they're actually used in team fights, and the fact that the companion absolutely spams Minakaze's abilities definitely makes it the single best companion in the game by far. Just because the damage output and the actual, you know, potential you can get from this companion is a lot more than you would get from pretty much any other companion in the game. Now, the best martial art in the game is actually going to be Jokai Fist. Now, the reason for this is because you can actually extend when you wouldn't be able to extend combos otherwise, just because the extra Jokai Fist has extra end lag on the knockback of the final M1, which does make it the single best combat art in the game. Now, if you actually want to use a weapon, you don't really care about the extra knockback, then Toad Flame is a very close second. Now, obviously, the best EKG in the game is going to be Inferno. You guys probably knew this. Ever since they buffed Inferno, it has been quite good. The first ability is the worst ability of Inferno. Air combo starter, you know, whatever. But the second ability is a traveling move combined with actually a combo starter combined with a big giant damage move and stuff. So it's just like all this stuff together makes Inferno quite good, right? But then the third ability is an instantaneous, uncancelable ability that can actually cancel their combos because it does have hit stun to the flames. So it is a, you know, Inferno overall is a pretty good ability in general. Not pretty good ability, pretty good bloodline in general, let alone for an EKG. Now, the best mentor in the game is going to be Jiso. I do actually think the extra HP, the stronger block, and the chi regen is the single strongest thing in the game right now. Since the perfect block system exists right now, you could actually have a total of 3 perfect blocks. Well, I mean, 3 perfect blocks without dying if you're not using consumables, which is a lot more than the other ones would get. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, post, guys. Bye-bye.